Hey everyone, this is Brian with the Donatucci Branch Library, and today we're going to do another science experiment. So, have you ever noticed that the majority of the ocean does not freeze, even when it's way below freezing temperatures? It could be like 10 degrees outside, but the oceans are there's still water. Well, why is that? Well, I'm going to explain it to you today, okay? So, first off, let me explain that the ocean can freeze if it gets cold enough. Okay? And we know that because we see like the polar ice caps, like the glaciers in Antarctica. So it can freeze. It has to be at a lower temperature than normal freezing temperatures. And the reason for that, there's a couple different reasons, but the main reason is because of salt. If you ever been to the beach and you got some water in your mouth when you're swimming, you know it tastes very salty. The ocean is loaded with salt, and that's what makes it so hard to freeze. The reason being is because the water molecules, when it starts to get cold, they start slow, like the water molecules, they're constantly moving with each other. And when it gets cold, they kind of slow down. And that's what causes the ice. But when you add salt to the picture, it gets between them. It's kind of like the social distancing between the molecules. Like, hey, no, wait up, you can't get that close to each other. But eventually, if it gets cold enough, it will still interact with each other and cause ice, though. So today, for our experiment, I have some salt, some regular salt. Okay, this will work for this experiment. And I have 3 bottles of water. Number 1, number 2, and number 3. Now, I emptied some water out of number 1 just so we can add some salt without it overflowing, okay? Because this is the only one that we're going to add salt to. We want to add a good amount, okay? It's probably way more than I need, but I just want to really show you this experiment. Okay. Then we're going to shake it up real good. Alright, so now I have my salt water and I have 2 bottles of regular water. And let's go take this to my fridge. Okay, so now I'm over here at my freezer, in my fridge, and I have my 3 bottles of water, okay? So we have number 1, okay, that's the one with the salt water in it, the salt in it. Number 2, just regular water. And number 3, just regular water. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to take number 1, I'm going to shake it up again, okay? Just get that salt nice and mixed in there. Okay? And I'm going to take number 1 and number 2. Let me show you on the screen, okay? Number 1, number 2. And I'm going to put these 2 into the freezer. Alright? And now, I'm going to wait a couple hours, and I want number 2, and, well, number 1 is not going to freeze, if my calculations are correct. But, number 2 will freeze. So I want to wait for number 2 to freeze, and then we'll take them out, and I'm going to show you. But, we have number 3 still. So I'm just going to keep this in the fridge, okay? And I'm going to show you what we're going to do with that later on, okay? So, just put that in the fridge. I'm going to wait for them other ones to freeze, and then I'll be back. Alright, so we're back and a couple hours have passed. So let's go check on our water. Or should I say ice. Alright, so you can see. Alright, so we have number 1 and number 2, okay? Number 1. Well, there's little ice particles in there. It's like a slushy. Not even a slushy. It's mostly liquid. But there is a little chunks of ice. Like I said, salt won't stop it completely. It just makes it a little harder to freeze. Well, a lot harder to freeze. But number 2, it's a solid ice, okay? So, now I'm going to show you something cool with this one, okay? So remember we had the third one that I kept in the fridge, right? So, I'm going to use the salt water, because this is still, even though this is not frozen, is still the same temperature as 2. It's been in the freezer for the same amount of time. And just to show you that it's the freezing temperature, hold on 1 minute, let me get something. Alright, so just to prove that this is actually below freezing temperature, I got a thermometer here, okay? It's just a regular standard thermometer. Now, the freezing temperature is 0 degrees Celsius, which is 32 degrees Fahrenheit, okay? So I'm going to put this little thermometer in here. And I'm going to show you on the other camera so that this doesn't spill. Hold on. So as you can see, it's below... It's definitely below 32 degrees Fahrenheit. It's actually going below 20 degrees Fahrenheit. So this is definitely below frozen temperatures. But you can see, whoop, I spilled it over. But you can see that it's actually a liquid still, okay? But let me, just in case you don't believe my thermometer, let me show you something else that's really cool, alright? Hold on 1 minute. Alright, so remember how I had number 3? The water number 3? Which is, it was just in the freezer. It was just in the refrigerator. So, it wasn't doing anything special. But I got myself a little plastic bag, right? It's not a Ziploc bag just because I don't have them right now. But this will work fine. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to dump a little bit of this water into the bag, okay? You see I have a little bit, not a whole lot. I don't need a whole lot to show you what I'm going to do here, okay? We'll set that down. I'm going to go grab another bag. And in this bag, I'm going to put the salt water that's very cold. It's below freezing. Remember we looked on the thermometer, right? And I'm going to dump a lot of this in there because I'm going to want to surround it. Okay? What I want to do, I want to put this water inside of this water. Okay, I want to submerge it really well. And just going to have to wait a couple seconds. Do 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 do. La 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 la. Now remember, this water it's all water, right? Now watch this. This regular water that I use from number 3, as you can see, it's turning into ice. If you hold it in longer, the whole thing would turn solid ice, but just for time purposes, you can see I only held it in there for like 10 seconds. And it's alright, you're getting chunks of ice in there. And this was regular refrigerated water, but because I submerged it into water that was below freezing temperatures, it still made that into ice. So, I hope you guys found this interesting, just as much as I did. And maybe I'll come back with some more science projects for you. Okay? So until next time, I'll see you all later. Have a good day. Bye.